somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
The Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. Now, your host, Andrew Duncan.
Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. We're here with you for another week to talk about the local real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show, like we are every Sunday at 10 o'clock. And excited to have a special guest with us today. We have Dave Liniger, the chairman and founder of the REMAX organization, on for an interview today with us to talk about his predictions for the housing market, a review of the 2012 housing market, and a lot of the key things that happened in real estate this year. So, Dave, how are you doing this morning?
Well, I was just listening to your radio, and it's a lot warmer there than it is in Denver.
Yeah, although I think, the celebration of the Broncos doing what they're doing kind of warms it up for you guys a little bit.
Yeah, we have a good game coming up next Saturday.
Yeah, I've become I'm an inherited Broncos fan. With Peyton Manning being on the Colts before and then moving there, I've become a Broncos fan a little bit more even so than last year. We were actually traveling with REMAX to speak out on the West Coast to a couple of broker-owner meetings, and my wife and I were out with a group of REMAX folks to watch the Chargers-Broncos game, and my wife's from San Diego, so interestingly enough, she was rooting for the Chargers as the Chargers were whooping the Broncos, and then the Broncos made a miraculous comeback and beat them. So it was she wasn't very happy to hear the six REMAX people telling her all about it the next couple of days. So,
Sure.
So anyway, Dave, appreciate you coming on the show. Dave's a real estate icon, been the founder of REMAX, which is now a 40-year-old company that nobody sells more real estate than REMAX. We're proud to be owners of a local franchise here in Tampa. And Dave, what were some of the, kind of reviewing the 2012 housing market, what were really some of the key factors that helped, kind of springboard us towards, recovering real estate market?
Well, without a doubt, the interest rates obviously are going to stay low, and that helped us throughout the entire year. The banks actually started limiting the number of REO and foreclosed properties that they were putting out onto the market, and that kept a overhang of shadow inventory of hitting at the same time. You take those two factors, plus the tremendous investor appetite, and then, of course, you have the normal market that's starting over again of people who want to buy houses and live in them. And so, all in all, it was another step towards recovery. I would anticipate the next 2 years will be stronger yet, and then back to pretty much a normal market by 15 or 16.
I was looking at the REMAX National Housing Report that you guys put out every month, and it's a really cool report. I'll post it on our Facebook fan page after the show today if you want to check it out. It's facebook.com/The Duncan Duo Show. But one of the things I noticed was, year over year, transactions across the country are up 15%. And the average sale price is up about 7%. And then you talked about the metro areas that had the most improvement, and amongst that group, Tampa was third with the third highest appreciation rate in a metro, or double-digit gain. Our average sale price, according to your report, which is mirrors the data I look at, 23.7% up for the year. So it's it's kind of interesting because nationally we're talking about a gradual growth, but in Tampa it's exploding a little bit.
Well, that has a lot to do with quality of life and places that people want to live. Obviously, the investors are trying to buy property wherever they can at a reasonable price. But when you add the additional strength in the market of people who want to buy someplace to live someplace, places like Scottsdale, Tampa, and so on are showing very dramatic gains in prices. A very fast recovery in those areas.
Yeah, it's been really kind of surprising, and I think a large part of our market. You mentioned the investor appetite. Huge impact of our market. We've got a lot of international people buying investment homes. We've got Wall Street that's buying up. There's several corporations out there buying up homes to rent them out long term, and that has definitely also helped our market because they saw our market as one of the most depressed, and then one of them, the best rental markets.
Yeah, and the thing that's nice about groups coming in and purchasing large numbers of property is that they're going to put them back on the market over the next 3 to 7 years in a very gradual procedure. And so there's not just a whole bunch of houses slamming a market, causing prices to go up and down like a yo-yo. So this is a good thing.
So outside of Tampa, what are some other hot markets that you think 2012 is going to bring some great appreciation or great gains in the average sale price where there's some of that imbalance going on?
Well, I think if you're talking regionally, the Florida market, if you look at Miami, you look at Orlando, both of those markets are starting to turn around very much like Tampa did 12 or 18 months ago. If you look across the country, all of a sudden California, where the most desirable homes are starting to turn around very well. And of course, the problem you get into in places like Scottsdale, 20-some% increase in prices in less than a year, that's not sustainable. You're pricing people out of the market, and there just isn't enough inventory.
Yeah, I think, what I find kind of interesting is it seems that the markets some of the markets that were hit the worst are the ones that are coming back the fastest.
Well, the prices are so attractive.
Right.
And the interest rates are so incredibly low, it just makes logical sense that people want to buy those properties.
Well, and I think you've got the international side of it. One of the real alluring aspects of REMAX for us as owners and agents when we started talking to you guys in 2011 before we opened was your international presence. In our market, it's huge. There are a lot of international sales in Florida. And what are some specific initiatives that REMAX focuses on to get in front of that international audience, or talk about the number of REMAX offices in other parts of the world? I tell people this a lot, but it's great to have the founder of the organization that's penetrating so many of these markets on the air just to kind of speak on that international presence.
Well, when you start looking at where the international buyers come from for a region in like Southeast or Florida, for quite some time you were getting a lot of business from Europe. However, that slowed down with the European banking crisis and the uncertainty of the market. Still a lot of European buyers, but to be honest with you, far more buyers coming from South America, Central America, Mexico. We have a huge presence in Brazil, opened, 2 years ago. I went down personally to set up the first regions, and I was just fascinated with the economy, how stable it is. The government's stable finally. And the middle class is growing very rapidly. But as that middle class grows, the wealthier people become even wealthier. America is still looked at as the foremost country of security in the world. And so a lot of people look at their own economies and they say, well, we've had these problems before. We've had the wild swings. We'd like to stabilize and get some money out of the country. And with the prices of real estate being so attractive, people in South America that have liquidity and extra cash are putting it into Florida real estate.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. It's amazing that you can track that kind of data running such a large company, but in terms of the population of who's buying in Florida, that's exactly what we see. Let's turn to 2013. What would you say are maybe a few of your predictions for the housing market nationally in 2013? What do you expect to see?
Well, interest rates are going to stay low for at least 12 to 24 months. The federal government wants to push them low. Number one, they're borrowing so much money, they like to keep the cost of interest as low as possible. And so with interest rates being very low, the investor appetite is still going to be there, but more and more it's normal run-of-the-mill people who are saying that we need to buy and we need to buy now. I'd like to give you a couple examples.
Sure.
One is the pent-up demand for housing. If you look at a normal market, there are about 5 million young adults age 18 to 29 that still live with their parents. They're going to local colleges, community colleges. They've gotten out of college. They're not married yet, and so it saves a lot of money if they can still live with their parents. I was working out in a gym, young 23-year-old therapist talking to me, and I asked her, do you live on your own yet? And she said, no, I graduated from college last year, and my parents love me, and, I'm able to save all that money, and I'm going to buy a house in the next year or two. So normal market, $5 million, 18 to 29. In today's market, it's $29 million.
Wow.
And so a lot of kids, it's cheaper to stay with mom and dad. Every one of us has friends that's happening with. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But what do you call a 27-year-old man that's still living with his mother? Nothing.
Single.
Nobody calls him. Who the hell wants to talk to him? The truth of the matter is the kids want out of the house as much as the parents would kind of like to see them go. A lot of college kids got out, couldn't get really good paying jobs. They got tuition debt they've got to pay, and so it makes logical sense. But as soon as they can afford it, as the economy rebounds, this is a huge bulge of young people, family formation age, that want to get married, want to move out, even if they want to move into apartments. What that does, it puts strains on the apartment market. The prices are going up for rents.
And then people
so
turn to
people
buy.
who are renting are saying,
Yep.
I want to buy.
Yep. And that's exactly what, and I'll tell you, it's interesting because you even start to see builders now in Tampa, they're building floor plans to accommodate for these types of scenarios. Either the elder in-laws or parents moving in, or the children, the college-aged or college graduate children still living at home. So so in your prediction, 2013 is going to be a bulging market for the first-time home buyer.
Yeah, and then the second aspect of it is family formation rates. In the United States, typically 1.2 to 1.5 million families get formed every year. That comes from people getting married or living together or whatever it might be. 2 years ago, the Census Bureau year ending September, that had dropped to 380,000 family formations, almost a million off.
Wow.
And the census for this September came in at 1,150,000, which shows almost a rebound to normal family formation. Again, it's a pent-up demand. With the economy being what it was and job market being what it was, people put off getting married and starting to buy and form their own household.
So that increase in the number of people demanding, the obviously the supply and demand curve, if you don't have as much supply, that increased demand is certainly going to help recover our market and continue good signs in 2013.
Yeah, that has two impacts, by the way.
Well, we're going to cover that. Dave, I don't mean to interrupt you. We've got to run to a commercial break here at 20 after. We're going to continue our conversation with you about the predictions for 2013, as well as we're going to discuss your letter to President Obama and Governor Romney after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.